If you've got something to share, pick up the phone, turn it up. Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel.
Welcome, brothers. Welcome, sisters. Our brothers and sisters in the diaspora. Any part of the world you happen to hear that program, welcome to our program. We on Real FM 91.9, 91.5. We also on We Noise FM in Brooklyn, New York, 94.9. And we encourage you to subscribe to Real FM, share our program, like our program, give us a blind. This morning, over the last couple days, we have been challenged. So this morning, we're going to put some emphasis on the National Democratic Congress. Some members of the Congress believe that we are not speaking positive about the Congress. We're only attacking them. Although from day one we said on this program, you have the power to call and determine what we speak about. So today, we encourage you to call and tell us what NDC did over the last 3 terms they was in power. That is about 13 years. The NDC like to say NNP in power for 23 years. And they do as if they never was in power. So today is your day. Today is NDC day. Call and tell us what NDC did positive, that you're comfortable with, that you're satisfied with over the last 13 years. And you could also call and tell us what NDC do that you thought was destructive, that retarded growth, that was unacceptable over the last 13 years. Today is NDC Day. Pick up the telephone. Tell us about NDC. What did they do? They came into power, I think, in 1990. And they remained 1990, 1995. They went into hibernation. They came back in power in 2008. They remained in power 2008 to 2013. Then they went in a cocoon. And they come back in power now on the 23rd of June, 2022. That is about 3 years in power. They're on the border of 3 years. We're in June, 2 weeks short of 3 years. What is it that the NDC do that we could be proud of? What is it that they did that is worthy of mention? And what did they do that you are dissatisfied with? Come on, pick up the telephone. Culture man. Start and give me a call. Tell me what NDC did for the 3 terms they in power. Just about 13 years. What they did. I've always said that where agriculture is concerned is the worst group of people that pass. I've always said where the poor of the poor is concerned, every time they come in power, the first group that cry out is the elderly, the people on the seed program. But today is your day. Pick up the telephone, give us a call, and tell us what NDC did for the last 13 years. It wasn't a continuous period. 1990 to 1995, 2008 to 2013. and 2022 to 2025. What is it that they do that is worthy of mention, that you satisfy with, that you disagree with? Please tell us. Too many of the members of the National Democratic Congress is arrogant, disrespectful, and it appears that you cannot defend your government. That is why you have the tendency to bully people, to call them dunce and dumb and stupid. Let us settle it for once and for all. Let us settle it once and for all. You claim on my program that I'm not speaking good about NDC. I've always said to you, I give my opinion on any subject matter. I'm not neutral. And my opinion is based upon the information I have. So if you could present me with new information about the National Democratic Congress that is of substance, that is worthy of mentioning, that you please and satisfy with, I will change my opinion about NDC. Pick up the telephone, I beg, and I dare, and call me and tell me for the period NDC was in power, what did they do that was good, that was productive, that was beneficial, or what stunted growth was unacceptable and was unproductive. I encourage you today to give us a call. I want this day to be your day. I don't want to speak on it, but I want to encourage you to pick up the telephone and give us a call. Gabe, you like to use the new ball. If you're hearing us, give us a shout. Tell us, what is it that the National Democratic Congress did? Why are you supporting to change them? They was in power for 13 years. They always speaking about how long people stay in power. Why you didn't stay in power that long? Why is it people continue to reject the NDC in the polls after one term? Please tell us. A little bit surprised I don't get a call yet, But that's one of the challenges. I've always said on my program that you, the caller, is more important. What you have to say is more considered than what I have to say. The National Democratic Congress has been in power for 13 and a half years. Some people advance the view that they retard growth. Every time they come in power, the development of our country is stunted. They turn the hand of the clock back. The economy go in reverse. And particularly in the year 2008 to 2013, things got so bad that the economy was in free fall. And when the new government come in power, they had to have a structural adjustment program to bring a sense of stability to the economy. And you, the members of the NDC, you very, yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon. And I must congratulate you on opening the floor today. For all those who like to call and say 23 years NMP in office and they didn't do anything. I'm sitting eagerly waiting to hear them say no. What what NDC did the time they were in office, 1990 to 1995, 2008 to 2013, and 2022 to present. I am waiting because you know what? There's a caller who does always call and NMP 23 years in office, and we have them all on Facebook, all about on social media. NMP did nothing. The operative word there, Mr. Pierre, is nothing within for the past 23 years. Let me hear the brave ones now call and say what NDC did between 1995, 2008, 2013, and 2022 to know. I'm waiting. I am waiting. Hold
Yes,
one,
ma'am.
Mr. Pierre.
Thank
Speak
you
it
very
good.
much.
Let us listen to them today. Thank
Yes.
you very much.
Give us a call and tell us what did the NDC do that is worthy of mention. What is it they did that was not detrimental to development? Because there are some people advance the view in Grenada, including me, and I'm in tongue long, that the NDC, every time they come in power, they stunt growth. I said repeatedly, it is the only group of politicians that plan lies. And they are not deep thinkers. They use the shortest route when they come in power. They came in power, and as soon as they reach, they sold the electricity company. After a massive electrification program, instead of appealing to the people for patience and saying to them, current is going every time you blink, I agree. But that was done because of the massive electrification program. And the communities that have electricity, they prefer to have it part-time than no time at all. They sold the electricity company. And they gave the company that they sold it to so much authority that the company could hand it back to the government anytime they want. Yes, caller, welcome.
Well, you were inviting callers to say what they do, and
Be hesitant.
I no, I'm not hesitant.
No, I say they
Not
hesitant.
hesitant.
No.
I must. I have to take up that challenge and remind you what they did. They came in and they sold Green Lake. Green Lake, yes, had some problems because, of course, the engines that was there could not sustain the load of the massive electrification program that was done. They came and they sold Green Lake. They sold Green Lake. They were such in a hurry to sell Green Lake. Green Lake. They accepted $2.50 on the US dollar. $2.50 for the US dollar. They sold Green Lake for less than the value of the properties, the real estate properties, the buildings, and so on. When they got out of office in 95, when it was time to ratify that agreement, we had to go back to the company and say, look, you did not even give us fair exchange for the dollar. The US dollar is now $2.50. The properties that Green Lake owned at the time was more than what they sold the company for. The NDC have a history of running from problems, just like they did with the marketing board. The first sight of problems that they come across, they run or they stop it completely. You know, I listening to some of these NDC activists, and they were taking credit for Granite Road. Now, my dear brother, the Japanese government, several cabinets ministers of Japan came to Grenada, and with the prodding of the Ministry of Agriculture, we got them to declare Granitang Road a fisheries access road to coincide with the new fish market in Grenville that we were building there. The Japanese government built a brand new bridge in Budge Cove. They rehabilitated the whole road. They put nettings all over where stones and mud and all of that used to cover the road during mudslide whenever it rained. They did that. And since then, we have not had that kind of problems on the Granitang Road with mudslides and stones and all of that. These guys came now and they widened two box drains over the road. Two box drains. And when I heard that, I almost jumped out of my seat. I said, for God's sake, a major project was done by the Japanese government to refurbish Granitang Road. And today, the National Democratic Congress are now taking credit just because they widened two box drains. They're now saying Granitang is safe now. I mean, when you listen to these guys, even on national television, and you hear they're talking about a WASH program, because, you know, they're good at rebranding things, giving it new names. There was a toilet and bath program where the former government was putting toilet and baths in some people that could not afford. But they jump on that program, and it's a good program, and there's nothing wrong with that. But what the people don't understand now, especially in the St. David's, halfway through, and they're bragging about how much toilets and bathrooms that they're giving there. The people must know that when their water gets disconnected, under Deacon Mitchell, they now have to pay $340 service charge, plus your bill, plus your reconnect fee. In addition to that, there was another 5% levy that he had introduced on water. So, the people must understand also that just because he's giving you toilet and bath, you have to remember it's an added expense on you, yes? And when you fall short, look at what they're doing to people. You know, we didn't touch on the jab thing. And we go touch on it briefly. Because you see, a statement by anybody else, we could have let it slide. Deacon Mitchell is trying to establish himself as a dictator on the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Pikimatlik. Since 1974, even when Grenada flag was hoisted with a Masanto, we were jumping and saying we wish our Grenadians a happy independence from 1974. And then today, Deacon Mitchell come and he's telling us that we can't play music on Independence Day. And he's sending the police all around looking for places where they have music to arrest those people, to arrest anyone who dare play music to celebrate our break from colonialism. And he didn't stop there. They had a so-called Heroes Day. And if you list by chance the late great Sir Harry Gary, the great liberator of the working class of Grenada, if you identify a day that you want to recognize him and others, you telling me that I can't play music on that day? Deacon Mitchell is now telling Grenadians what they must eat, when they must cry, when they must pray, when they must jump. He's telling us now that on Heroes Day, it has to be a solemn day. My brother, who tell Deacon Mitchell I want to be solemn on the day Bishop was killed? Who tell him that? They want to jump on March 13th. But they want to tell me, Michael Batista, another Garyite, that we must cry on October 19th, the day of Morris Bishop's demise. It don't work like that, my brother. And look at what he did. Our independence, as if adding insult to us was not enough. He take Bishop picture and he put it on the 50th anniversary note along with we national hero Eric Gary, the father of independence. My brother, Morris Bishop was not even a member of Parliament in 1974. What is the rationale for putting him on our independence note? He was not a member of Parliament in 1974. Bishop first entered the House of Parliament in 1976 via an alliance at the head. So, what's the rationale, my dear brother? He come back, he tell us, we must not use sugar. So he put in tax on, he taxing us on sugar. I mean, could you imagine? In every household, sugar is an important component in the cupboard. It's not everybody could afford honey. So my brother, we have to look at him closely. And we have to stop him early because we don't know what's next. He starts with independence. He starts with the heroes say no music. You know, he's telling Jab when they must jump. He's telling you that how you must eat. We have to stand together. We have to unite together to ensure we get rid of this National Democratic Congress, my brother. Thank you.
Yes, there's no question about that. And I provide the opportunity for people to call, tell me what you're dissatisfied with about the Congress, and tell me what the Congress done over the last 13 years that is worthy of mentioning. Deacon Mitchell said nothing has been achieved post 1983. So let us hear what the Congress did. Pick up the telephone, call me, Cultureman. Call me and tell me what the NDC did in those years that you're proud of. And they did things. And they did things that people are happy about. They gave a tax break in 2008, 2013. So people was able to save millions of dollars. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon to you. How are you doing?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, you know what they don't say NDC do? Mr. Pierre, you know they say NDC pay pension and NDC pay gratuity. And right now, you know, he was a pilot in the air. But what now, he's not a pilot in the air now. He's a pilot on the ground. Because he have a competition. And in the night, he have flashlight in people's place. And Mr. Perry, remember, he said he buy a bridge. You know anything about that bridge?
No, I didn't hear this one.
Huh?
I didn't hear about this bridge.
Yes, he was saying at the time, I don't know where the bridge had us to go, but he was saying at the time when he just come in, he buy a bridge. And the bridge was there, but I know nobody never see that bridge.
You're telling so much lies that I doesn't pick up with everything buzzes.
So right now, he come now, and he wants to stop Jab. But Mr. Pierre, he has to take Jab in his funkwe until he did. Because that's what he showed the people. He said Jab in Parliament, Jab must play, and everything is Jab. So today, he wants to come now and stop Jab, but Mr. Pierre, he can't stop Jab. Because he come and he lunch carnival before the time comes. So he has to take Jab until he dead. That's one thing now he can call into you. He don't joke, he don't want, he don't make nothing but he play Jab, everybody to see why other fans done. So right now, I don't even know what that man gets, you know, but I don't say, Grenadian, we deserve the government what we get. And I'll tell you that I will never stop saying it. Grenadian deserve the government we are right now. Have a good evening, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, pick up the telephone and give us a call. Tell us what the NDC did. There are a number of people always chastising me on the radio or even when I'm in interaction with them on the block or in the shop that we're not speaking about what NDC did. So please call us. NDC was in power for 13 years. What did they do to develop this country? What did they do? Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre,
yes, ma'am.
Yes, the two bridges to replace the river project.
River project?
The bridges are going to be too expensive to can't say nice to that more than 2 years ago, he had a bridge. I don't know where he hiding, but he has some bridge. But he promised to break the cycle of nepotism. When he said he called when he said bring the cycle of nepotism. But in Bush, he strengthened it, he said, identify the real NDC,
Yeah.
I'm sitting on the highway from Central to St. Patrick. And we want to see the suspension of the VAT for 1 year. All these things written on the time still. That man is a master this design children.
Yeah, deceiving. Yeah. He said he can say that suspend the VAT for 1 year. I beg him to take out VAT on the roof screws. Nails, well, I didn't even suggest nails, but it is better. 1 screw is stronger than 10 nails. So because during the hurricane we have lost so much of roof, I beg him to take out the tax on screws, the VAT on screws, so it will be more readily available. It would be cheaper. And instead of people using nails, they would use screws. Because the hurricane just removed the roof in a lot of instances. But he did not do that. So we're encouraging you to give us a call. Tell us what the NDC did in 2008, 2013. What did they do in 1990, 1995? What are they doing now in 2022? You have challenged us that we're not speaking about the positive of NDC. So we're calling on you to tell us what are the positives. What are the positives of NDC? You know, it is important. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
the most important thing that the NDC did is two things. The most important they did is to pay the pension and raise minimum wage and change the law at the pension so that everybody who works in government will get a pension in this day and age. You have NMP working at people.
Remember what today is all about. NDC. You have an opportunity now to tell us what NDC do good. Yeah. You say the pension, you say the raise pension, minimum wage, and they change the law to facilitate those who are working now. Give us another one.
The scholarship they give.
Who they give scholarship?
They gave over 300 people scholarship already to go and study in university. Some in St. George's, some in Cuba.
They pay national, you know they say they go pay national college, they don't pay it?
They don't pay.
No.
What they pay national college? Those children going to national college and they getting the money. Let me tell you something. When this government come in power, the national college was owing $20 million at the end they paid $20 million for them $2 million and then to go to national college fees. Now the national college. You know, those children who go there free today.
But them children tell me they have to pay.
They don't pay.
They have to pay. All right, okay, let us leave it there till somebody verify.
They had to pay. They had to pay their school fees. They got fees.
When they say it's
But
free,
they got to pay.
they say it's free.
If the interest is free, they don't pay no scholarship. No thing for them to go to school. Mr. Pierre, one of the best things they do, I could tell that, is pay the minimum wage. These people in this country, they all work, they work them, the poor and vulnerable, for 10 years for $40. Oh, God, president on you. Are you wicked? I tell you, that's the most wickedest person in the country.
Who are wicked for NDC?
NMP,
Well, I can tell you, we concentrating on NDC today.
well, yes,
Tell me, yeah.
they
Well,
pay
thank
them
you.
their wage.
Well, the strongest one is the
What they do,
pension.
they work them for 10 years for $40. Oh, God, bring them.
All right.
That's what peon are you? Are you wicked people?
Okay, thank you. God doesn't pee on children in law. God don't pee on us. What we're asking is what the National Democratic Congress did in the 13 years it was in power. And this gentleman made the strongest thing they did, as he said, is to continue paying pension, to raise the minimum wage, and the same minimum wage the government raised, the government is the biggest culprit, the biggest defaulter of minimum wage. In a lot of instances, the government is not paying the minimum wage. Tell us again, culture, pick up the telephone, call us. Tell us if the government fixed the road in your area. You as a road specialist. Call us and tell us what the government did beside pension, raise pension and minimum wage. What did the government do in 13 years? What did the government did worthy of mentioning in common NDC, man? Only don't let me down. You know, today I don't on your side. What is it that the government did that is worthy of mention? In 2008, 2013, the economy was in free fall. The government was selling assets to meet current expenditure. Anytime you're doing that, you're in trouble. It's like you reach the situation so bad in your home that you sell your fridge to pay the light bill. You sold the washing machine to pay tax. Now your children and wife gone in the river wash. You sell the stove and you say you're cold pot. In the long run, you don't end up with wife, you don't end up with children. That is what the government did in 2008, 2013. They sold 13 pieces of property. And I want the people in the diaspora to hear that. You doesn't believe me? They sold land that did not belong to the government. They sold shares. They didn't have the legal authority to sell. They had no authority to sell the shares. They still sell it. The government behaved then as if they was on coke. They're selling. Now I ask the question, what is it that the NDC did in 13 and a half years? They always challenging 23 years. So I'm asking now, tell me what they did. They take issue with me. They say, you're not saying the good things what NDC do. And I've been begging them for information every day. If you bring new information, I will change my opinion. What did the NDC do that is worthy of mention during the period when they were in control of the government? The NDC cut down Belvedere nutmen. The Banda nutmeg was brought into Grenada somewhere around 1884. The NDC borrowed over 20 million. I think it was 25. They cut down Belvedere nutmeg. As St. Lucian says, "Sas et chugason." They couldn't believe that Grenada was cutting the black gold down to plant a crop that matures in 9 months. No one can believe that. They cut down the black gold that mature in 10, 12 years to plant a crop that mature in 6 to 9 months. They were warned that Belvedere is not suitable for banana. It's going to come down with, it's more likely to fall prey to disease because of the belt. They begged them to plant the banana in the lower belt. The NDC cut down Belvedere nutmeg and plant banana. Now, so I'm asking you, what did the NDC do in the 13 plus years they was in power? Give me a call, man. Culture. Pick up the telephone and call your partner. That is your opportunity. My program is for everybody. Call and tell me what the NDC did. You constantly say nothing was achieved. But if you didn't do nothing, then who do what is the progress? Who manhandle? Who take charge? Who contribute? Who develop the country? What did the NDC do? What role did the NDC play? The NDC sold NCB Bank. The National Commercial Bank was sold by NDC. The very next year, they made about 2 million in profit. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, I think you're forgetting that, they have enriched seriously some of the supporters. I would take that as an achievement for this.
The guys say they enrich themselves. Personal. Selfish. They self. They raise their salary, their income by over 300%. They raise their income by over 300%. And Deacon now is planning to give them vehicles to campaign. Yes, scholar, tell us. Yes, scholar, go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
What did the NDC do in the last 13 years? We are NDC today.
I will name some of the things the NC did.
Yeah.
In the last 13 years, Millibug, they bring Millibug in the country. One, they always go in a lab and see them and manufacture lies to deceive the people, to get the people to support them. And when the people support them, they turn their back on the poor people and always seeking the interests of the rich people and ignoring the poor people of Greater Caribbean and Peter Martinique. That is one of the trend of NDC. They use the poor people to vote for them, but when they reach in power, they turn their back on the poor people of Greater Caribbean and Peter Martinique and seeking the interests of the friends who have. Right? And the next one again, NDC sell about 13 properties, I think. They even sold that property that don't belong to them. I'm saying when you look at a man's have a home and he's selling everything in the home when he broke. That man had to be on drugs or he had to be a drink. And that is the trend of NDC. They just selling things just to get money. They sold Grelec for next to nothing. NNPL come back to buy back Grelec again. And I remember Mr. Tuba said, if NDC get back in office, they may have a plan, they may have a task of selling Grenadier again. So we have to look and see what is the plan of the Prime Minister, because he was the liar for Grenadier. And Mr. Pierre, NDC track record for record computer mathematics is not something good that you could boast of. Something that is very anti-poor people, and they seek the interests of the friends and the family. The people that really need them, they don't really seek the interest, but they only use them to get them to vote for them. Mr. Pierre, have a blessing.
Yes, the question today is, what did NDC do for development of our country in the last 13 years? They're quick to open their mouth and say, you were there 23. What did they do in 13 years? What did they do for the development of this country? It's very difficult to get anything worthy of mention or out of the normal that the NDC did. The JKK MNIB, they sold the commercial bank, they sold the electricity company, they sold 13 pieces of property to meet current expenditure. They sold even what was not theirs. They brought the economy in free fall. They collect the money from the workers and they did not pay NIS. Now I plead with you. What the NDC did, I may not remember all. So if you believe they do something that is more important, that is beneficial, that is worthwhile, then please shout. But I believe as a political party, we have to start to ask political leaders the hard question. And today we open up the floor for you who said we bias. We don't speaking about positive things about NDC. So we're giving you the opportunity to call us and tell us what is good about this group of vultures. In 2008, they came into power. They immediately went after the elderly. After they promised them $450, they fired some of them, and they never give them the money. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good day, Mr. Pierre. How are you
Yes,
doing?
great, man.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre, I want to address something that a young man said. He said NEC pay pension, right? NEC never pay pension. They pay gratuity.
Yeah.
And this is still owing people right now money for pension. Remember, they make a new plan, right? Which is supposed to go, that's supposed to go, you're supposed to have a referendum to have a new plan. The man just make a new plan. He didn't pay no pension. So this guy, tell him take back what he's saying. They pay gratuity. Gratuity is not pension. And they don't pay no pension. And up to now, they never pay no pension. They pay gratuity and they give the cronies big money. They didn't give everybody with that money. They give the special people who get 75,000, who get 100 and something thousand. I'll tell you they say, I know, you know.
They give out too much money.
You know what I'm saying?
They give money more than what is calculated.
Man, get the facts straight. They didn't pay no pension. Gratuity is not pension. Thank you very much, Mr. P. And you have a good one and continue to doing the good job that you're doing.
Yes,
because
the question
we will
is.
be back. We will be back. And we're working tirelessly to be back. And we will be back. NNP, stay focused. Stay on the right track. We will be back. Have a good evening, Mr.
The
P.
question is, the people always saying the other party was there 23 years. And nothing was achieved since 1983. So please tell us, what is it the NDC did that was beneficial for the country? Yes, we know they continue the process of pension. They like to say they pay pension. They just feel everything. They have to deceive people. What is it they did? We particularly interested in you leading this one. What is it they did? Give us a call. Take the line. Give us a call. The government before introduced the Imani program. The NDC never liked the Imani program. So they went to these people and said to them, if you vote for us, we're going to give you $1,000. Now you're working for 700, we will increase it to 1,000. And it appears people vote for them. The first thing they did was to go to the meeting with the Imani workers, and they were asked, we're hearing rumors that you want to fire us. They said, look into our eyes. You are like with children, we love you all. We will not fire you all. And a few weeks after that, they changed the name and they fired them. That is unfortunate. How could you have a government that deceives every group, every sector in our society? Yes, some people are benefiting from them. The fact that people got thousands and thousands of dollars in tax break was helpful. What did the NDC did? You see, it's important to call your line. When you challenge me, I normally call your line. What did they do that was beneficial or good? You know, there's a very disrespectful group, because once they come in power, they believe they are the smartest thing since sliced bread. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, scholar.
I want to praise the government for raising the money pay, from $700 to $1,200. I want to praise them for paying the pension and gratuity. Although you have some dummy in this country, they don't believe that the NDC pay the pension and gratuity, but that is them. Let us stay in the back. I want to praise the government for bringing new programs such as the empowerment program to empower the young men and the young of this country. I want to praise them for that. I want to praise them for the school feeding program, Mr. Pierre. Although, as you say, it's not working good, but yeah, over 13,000 children in this country getting a free meal every day. And the past government, they never give them a cent. I want to praise the NDC for that. Brother, have a good day, Mr. NDC.
Yes, man. Today is NDC Day, and we're asking you to please tell us what is it that NDC has done. Yes, scholar, welcome. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. P.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. P, I heard the last caller without not discriminating him. Mr. P, the Empower program was done by under the NNP administration. Yeah. If I ask him what was the meaning of the Empower program, why the Empower program came into existence? The Empower program came into existence when they bring in the Imani program. They look and see was more women taking advantage of the Imani program. So the NNP implement the Empower program to empower men, for men to get a second chance in life. Yeah. Now they see to it. I mean, they take it over. They continue with it, and that's good. But
it's not this
project.
But it's not this. It's not this.
It's not their project.
Okay. Well, I basically concentrate on what they did.
They continue. And Mr. Pierre, one thing I hear he say again. Okay, they implement. They raise the Imani fee from 7 to 12. Because remember, the man say, who going to give the Imani $500 raise? What's about those who he met that was working for $1,300? Did they get the $500 raise?
You drop it.
He dropped it from $1,300 to $1,200.
Yeah.
So that you don't see that deceive. You don't see that deceive.
That is why we normally say the master deceiver, because he gave the impression he gave them, and he removed from those who did the CVQ and CV4 or whatever.
Exactly. Because you will come and tell me you don't have no subject. You're working within a ministry. I give you 1,200, and the person who has subjects and qualifications and that kind of thing, so working for the same $1,200, how that working?
Yeah, that's a master deceiver.
You say again, the minimum wage, Mr. Pierre, the government is the biggest lawbreaker for the minimum wage not being kept. Because you have enough people who working for $40. Look at the environmental workers. Some of them are working in school, some of them in the cleaners in the hospital and kind of thing. There's some of them still working for $700.
He's a master deceiver.
So then what you gonna talk about minimum wage?
So tell me what they do.
When the government breaking the law.
So what they do, they breaking the law? What did they do? What they do? What the NEC do?
They don't do nothing.
What do you mean they could spend 13 years and don't do nothing?
Why you think them Mr. Pierre, why you think them NEC can call? It's because they know they don't do nothing. The government embarrassing them.
Well, do you mean they stayed at 13 years? Beside Belvedere, Nutmeg, and they dig up wrong the lake.
Their own people. The people in the upper echelons. They only using them put people in them to climb the ladder. Look at him, man. They said they'll give him $450. He can't wait. They use him in 2008. I can't wait to get the $400. After election, the man dead.
He dead. He dead. They don't give me money.
He dead. He don't give me $400.
Thank you, caller. Waiting. I feel somebody calling also. Thank you. Tell me what the NEC did for 13 years. Yes, caller, welcome. You there? No, caller. We want to know, because you can't be claiming nothing was done since 1983. You cannot be claiming that you're successful. Yes, caller, welcome.
My brother.
Yes, my brother.
You touch on Belvedere, but you're very generous. You are very generous to the NDC with Belvedere. You run past that. You run past that subject of Belvedere. May I please help you with that?
Well, yes, you could explain.
The NDC bought 250 acres of land from Belvedere. Some of these lands could have been declared forest reserve with a stroke of the pen. They sold these lands to farmers at exorbitant cost. And then they imported fertilizer from Mexico. As a result of that fertilizer brought into Grenada, it started with the leaf spot in Belvedere. Then it went on to Chantilly, Windsor, and Cloget. That, my brother, triggered the collapse of the banana industry. Farmers went broke as a result of the misdeed that was done to them by the National Democratic Congress. Then came the government in 95. We had to reschedule the payments for the banana farmers, give them subsidies while the industry collapsed, and work with them to resurrect the industry back in 1998. We were able to introduce what we call then a labor subsidy program. And I used to call it my hurry up offensive scheme. And we were able to get out of that debacle from Belvedere, Windsor, Cloget, and Chantilly out of what NDC did. With DECO suspended Grenada from shipping bananas because we were damaging the image of with DECO, with Rhode Island
shipping banana company. So they suspended Grenada. All because of what happened at Belvedere under the late, well, may he rest in peace. I wouldn't call his name.
NDC.
I don't like to talk.
Yeah.
Maybe he rest in peace. Belvedere was a total disaster. The agreement that they made in Belvedere with the farmers was that farmers would pay back for the land from the proceeds of the sale of bananas. That never materialized because the banana industry collapsed. And then they got NIS. They got NIS to take over the loans. And farmers went bankrupt, total bankrupt. That is when we saw the demise of our banana industry. And came into government in 1995. We put our shoulders to the wheel. We restructured the loans. We got back the fertilizers from Holland, the Albatros fertilizer from Holland. We worked with the farmers, and Grenada started shipping first-class bananas again, my dear brother. Thank you.
Yes, and this gentleman, what did NDC do? Every time you're talking about 23 years, he was there for 13 years. What did they do? This person said, what did they do is make me sick to my stomach with their foolishness. Disaster struck us and vatting with skin and the PM wickedness of the highest degree. What did the NDC do? Today in our society, we have a prime minister that is a fake, a compulsive liar, a master deceiver. The prime minister traveling as if he's a air hostess. And he seems to like Dubai and Africa. The prime minister sneaks in to a country and had to be diplomatically chastised by the governor of Lagos State for coming in the country secretly. The prime minister is complicit in the corruption in marketing in national lottery. The whistleblower to wit, the minister Lacrette, informed the prime minister. The prime minister fired the whistleblower. The prime minister fired the whistleblower. We heard of the corruption in the Grenada Development Bank, and this one must not go unchallenged because the government flouted the law and raided the bank for selfish reasons. We beg Deacon that if you and your agents are selling past CBI passport, there will be no one to do the check and balances. We expect the corruption in the CBI passport sale would have come to haunt you. So we're back with you tomorrow between 12 and 1. And you know, when the clock struck 12, on target is ready and you could punch without preamble. Thank you very much.
Turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real with Francis